Alright, welcome today, folks. Today we're going to be talking about my daily car, my little 99 Grand Marquis here. It's having an issue today that we're going to try to sort out. As I said, my little trusty 99 Grand Marquis here. Been a great daily driver. But right now, it's giving me a slight issue. Let's start it up real quick. It is giving the dreaded check engine light. Now, first thing we're gonna do, shut the car off, and we're gonna run our scan tool on it. And I just have a cheap little Bosch here. It does the job just fine. There's better ones that, you know, high dollar ones that professional mechanics use, but I mainly do this as a hobbyist and just to maintain my own vehicles. I plug the scanner into the OBD2 port, which is by the center console in this car. Now we're gonna wait for this thing to boot up. Which will take a second here. Select vehicle. I actually have to select the vehicle on this thing. It will be 1999 car, Mercury, Grand Marquis, W code 4.6. So it has 2 codes on the ABS, 2 codes on the OBD2. I already know about the ABS codes, so I'm going to ignore those. And they're, as you see down here, it says non-mill, which will not cause a check engine light. And those two I'm not worrying about, because in the state where I live in, it's not required to pass inspection. But we do have DPFE sensor, circuit high volt, and a DPFE upstream hose off. So, let's look into that, shall we? Now, the DPFE sensor is the pressure sensor for the EGR system. And on this Ford 4.6, it's going to be back here, right here in the back, underneath all these hoses, right here. So, let's pop that off and take a look at it. Alrighty now, get this sensor off. First thing you're gonna want to do, you're gonna want to remove these 2 hoses up top to get you room to work with. And this one's gonna be a stubborn one. Let me try to get that tucked here out of the way so we can access the. You're gonna have a little plug on here. That's removed. And you're gonna want a small ratchet with an 8mm. And it doesn't take much on these. Just one turn will do it. Okay, now we have a brand new part. Brand new Motorcraft. It's a DPFE 15 is the part number. I always try to go with Motorcraft on a Ford because that's what they came with. And here I have brand new silicone hoses You want to use the silicone hoses for this application, because the fact that this actually attaches to the exhaust, you don't want rubber, because rubber will just deteriorate in no time. But it seems that we have a little bit too much hose, as you can see here. So first thing I'm going to do is trim these hoses up. Okay, now that I got the hoses trimmed to the same length as the old one, this one's still good, but the hose kit comes in two, so I'm going to go ahead and replace both of them. Now I'll see if I can get you down here a little bit better to see what we're working with. It's really hard to get in here to show you exactly what you're going on with, but I think that's going to be a fail there. I'm not going to be able to show you exactly, but if you're doing this job yourself, you'll be able to feel where exactly where the little pieces are down here on the exhaust that's coming off of the exhaust. And there is one bigger hose and one smaller hose. And the point is there, you want to reference the sensor here, which one side's bigger and one side's smaller. So you want to reference it this way, so you know that the bigger hose is going to go on the left side and on the right side. So you want to, with the smaller one on the right side, the bigger one on the left. So you want to repeat that process down here on the inlets off the exhaust. So I'm going to go with, on the right side, smaller diameter hose. Slip that on there as good as I can get it. And the bigger one on the left side. And we'll put the hoses up to the center now. It's gonna fight me, but move this transmission dipstick so it's out of my way. It is kind of fighting me. Kind of wrestle it till you get that hose seated all the way up. Okay, and then we can stick the sensor back on the studs that it's mounted to before. Just make sure those hoses aren't kinked any, which they're not. And we can put mounting nuts back on it. And drop one down. Thankfully the bolt did not disappear, it fell straight down and I was able to retrieve it off the ground. It's always fabulous when one ends up lost in the transmission or something, or on the transmission. If it gets in the transmission at this angle, I'd really worry. There we go, finally got that one started. I'm going to take it as far down by hand as I can take it. and snug them down. Don't want to over tighten them. It's only plastic here, so. Alrighty, once that's in there, you want to take the little connector, pop it into, you hear that click. And you want to put these hoses back where they go. Make sure they're secure. And simple as that. Pretty straightforward, easy job there. And since that's done, we'll start it up. I seriously doubt. Sometimes you get lucky enough in this situation where the check engine light will disappear on its own. Which I'm pretty sure this is probably not going to, which it is not. You see the check engine light's still on. There's still going to be a stored code for this system. So let's go ahead and turn it off. Find our OBD2 port. And go through this process once more. What we're gonna want to do is go through and erase the codes. Okay, now there's no codes left in the computer. Let's give it a start up. And we didn't have the check engine light immediately come back. Let's double check. There's no codes in the system yet. But, of course, as you can see, there's some incomplete data in this car. The EGR system monitor is incomplete, and that's what needs to complete this circuit. But I'm going to leave it at this because I know that's pretty sure that was the problem. There, just that circuit being bad and the upstream hose. There's really no other culprit that could be. I'll double check, make sure the hoses stayed on during that. They did. And let me put the transmission dipstick back in. Good thing I didn't drive with it like that. That would have been terrible. But that was just a little simple repair on my daily driver here. Hope this video was informative and be a little clue into this particular problem was, it was a bad DPFE sensor on the EGR system, which actually will not affect the way the car runs and drives. The car will run and drive just fine with this problem. However, in states like where I live in Texas, it will fail the emissions test. And if you don't know anything about cars and you bring it into a shop that's not as honest, they can charge you thousands of dollars trying to repair your car. and try to tell you it's your full EGR system needs replacing, or you need a catalytic converter. And that's just one thing I can't stress enough. You know, when it does have a check engine light, especially if it's running good, more than likely it's an evap or an emissions problem. And your car won't be legal in certain states with those problems. So I always recommend getting somebody you know or trust with a scan tool, or going to a parts store and having it scanned, and they won't even charge you anything, to get an idea of what is wrong with your car before you take it to some shop, or if you have a shop that you really trust. And I really hope everybody has that, and I want everybody to have that. I want everybody to have a mechanic they can rely on and they can trust. You know, because there are the ones out there that will take advantage of people, saying, you know, if your car cannot pass inspection, that's a problem. You can't legally drive it on the road. And so they know that most people will be willing to give up a lot of money just to be able to keep their car on the road. But stay informed, do your research, and you won't be charged thousands of dollars when it was just a simple fix like that, which just under $100 worth of parts and just a couple minutes work, the car's fine. So I hope this is good for y'all. And I was gonna do another project on the Mustang today, but it looks like it's going to, bottom's gonna fall out of the sky here any minute. So stay tuned. I got some exciting things coming up on it, and who knows, maybe I'll have another simple repair video like this for you. And I hope you stay tuned to the channel and support me if you can. Hit that like button, subscribe, and until next time. Well, the sun decided to come out for a few hours, so decided to shoot a little bonus content here. I've been spending the last week or so refinishing the wheels here on the Mustang, and after repainting the brake drums, I'm putting it back on. I know what you're thinking. Painted brakes, ricer, but I never seen the problem with painting your brake drums or your brake rotor, your brake calipers, unless you're, you know, painting them red and slapping a Brembo sticker on your stock brakes. That I would frown upon. But if you're just doing it for aesthetic purposes and you own up to the aesthetic purpose of it, I mean, it can really set off a good set of wheels. In this case, we're going with Ford Blue, and obviously not trying to pose that these are high performance brakes. They're manual drum brakes. They're just the next step up from dragging your foot on the ground. They're not great at all. But painting them with these freshly new finished wheels does beat having rust-colored brake drums in the center, which does just throw off the look, especially a show car like this one. I mean, if it's a daily driver, it's a daily driver. Who really cares what it looks like behind the wheel? But on a car like this, the details do matter. Not that I get the details perfect. Anybody wants to be a complete perfectionist over this car, they can just go somewhere that's stated in the Bible. And I'm not talking about heaven. But honestly, most people that perfectionist about a show car are the concourse guys, and they would have a field day over this car anyway. There's not a number that matches on this car. Alrighty. Lower down gently, obviously. course, you always double check the torque on everything. I have 2 locks on this one. Honestly, really don't remember why, but we do. And with a bar like this, you don't want to go overboard with putting pressure on it. That's a long bar. That's going to amplify one Roger by at least 1.5, maybe 2. And that's a lot of torque. And here, ladies and gentlemen, is the finished product. Newly refinished wheels. That are slightly different color than the original. Went with graphite gray metallic, which is actually a duplicolor color. Specialized wheel coating. I did all 4 of the ones on the car, and I'm liking the result. If you don't remember what the wheels originally looked like, I know you've seen this car before. This is our spare. This is what they originally looked like. Let me roll them up, roll this one up to the car, give a good before and after effect. So this is what it looks like before, and this is after. And plus, granted, this wheel is nearly brand new. It's spent most of its life in the trunk. And if this comes through on camera, see how bad the clear coat already is on this lip. It is terrible. To expect, these are Rev Classic 100s. They're the knockoff of the American Racing Torque Thrust Ds. They're a China-made wheel. They are a replica. Yeah, a lot of people say that's blasphemous to put that on a car, but with a little bit of time and effort, they do look better. But also stay tuned, because this wheel will become matching those, and I'll show you step by step of how I do it. So I hope you join me for that.